Hey everybody, Drew Hinton here with Aero Safety, here to present a Work Tip Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about hard hats, specifically some of the data and information that you will find on the shell itself. And so we're just going to do a quick glance at this. One of the things that I see a lot of misunderstanding about is this sundial icon on the inside of your brim of your hard hat. That is not when your service life starts. This is the date of manufacture. It will have a year in the middle of that sundial, and then it'll have typically an arrow pointing towards whichever month that it was manufactured in. So this particular one was manufactured in May of 2018. That is not necessarily when my service life starts kicking in. Now, service life is how long my hard hat is good for, and that starts when I put it into service. Now, ANSI Z89 standard does not require a service life to be put on there. However, a lot of manufacturers will. Kind of the general guidelines, general recommendations from a lot of hard hat manufacturers are that you will replace your hard hat shell every 5 years, or the hard hat itself, the whole thing, every 5 years. And then if it's under severe use conditions, every 2 years. So what is severe use conditions? Examples of severe use conditions would be high UV exposure. So if you are working for a construction company or you're working for an excavation company that's out in the direct sunlight 8 hours a day, day after day, majority of the year, then you're going to be susceptible to UV breakdown. So how you might notice UV breakdown taking place is you might notice some flaking. That glossy appearance of your hard hat starts going away because it's starting wearing off at the protective coating. And so you might start seeing that protective coating being worn away, the glossiness go away, flaking taking place. If you see any of that stuff, it means that it's been subjected to UV breakdown and it needs to be taken out of service and replaced. Now, other things that can also be a severe environment that you may have to reduce your service life will be a chemical environment. So if you're working in environments that have a lot of acids or caustics or things that may start degrading your hard hats, then you also need to keep that in consideration as well. So a lot of manufacturers, again, ANSI does not require a service life guideline. A lot of manufacturers will put one out there. They'll say 5 years for general use. So if you're inside of the manufacturing facility or you're just intermittently outside every now and then, not a lot of chemical exposure, not a lot of UV breakdown or UV exposure, then you can typically get a maximum of 5 years out of your hard hat once it's put into service. So again, that's not the date that's stamped on here. You don't go 5 years from that. You go 5 years from the date that you put it into service. So you need to keep track of these things. Again, if you're doing severe use, so UV exposure, chemical exposures, then that may drop it down to 2 years. A lot of manufacturers say 2 years service life on that. So we're doing these inspections. We should be doing a pre-use inspection. Every time we go grab a hard hat for the day, we need to be doing a quick pre-use inspection, just a visual check, make sure there's no deformations, there's no cracking, no flaking in the coating, anything like that. Always check with your manufacturer. One thing that I see not done very often that needs to be, is probably one of the most important things with a hard hat, is replacing your suspension. Your suspension is actually what's absorbing your impact if you were to get impacted by some kind of a tool or a brick or whatever it is, something were to fall and hit you in the head. The suspension is actually what's going to absorb that impact. Most manufacturers will tell you to replace that every 12 months, once a year. So I don't see that done quite as often as I'd like to, but most manufacturers, if not all, will tell you to replace the suspension once every 12 months or annually, and then replace the hard hat. A lot of them will say 5 years under normal use, 2 years under severe use. So again, just a quick work tip Wednesday to take a look at your hard hats. Again, do your visual pre-use inspections. If you want to set it up on an annual basis, that would be great. Maybe on your annual PPE training, you're doing this. Have the employees and have your workers bring their hard hats with them, and have them check it out while they're doing the training. Have them look and see if there are any defects on that particular hard hat. Does it need to be replaced? That's a great time to do it when they're not actually using it. When they're in training is a great time to find out and what needs replaced, to get it replaced, and to make sure that they have the proper equipment. So again, hopefully some quick tips on your hard hat protection. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, but have a great day. Thank you.